How you doing, everybody? CJ Williams with Good Buddy Inspections. We're going to talk about electrical panels. Everybody has one in their home, and these are important parts of the home, obviously, because this is where all your electricity comes in, and it's powering all your utilities, your appliances, everything in your home, right? Some have basic panels, simple panels. Some might have multiple panels. Here we're going to look at we're going to take a basic look at a basic panel inside a home during an inspection. I'm available in the Charlotte area, so whether you're buying or selling, if you're buying, you're looking to make that investment, you definitely want to get that home inspection done. If you're selling, you want to get that pre-listing inspection to get ahead of that process, because the buyer's going to get an inspection. It's best that you know what's going on with that home before you list it. All right, so let's get into a panel here. We're going to go over it real quick and tell you, I'm going to show you some of the defects, if any, that I see in this panel. All right, so first of all, we're dealing with this little simple panel. It's only 150 amps, as we see from the main disconnect here, or the main, the main disconnect here. And the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that this panel is rated for 150 amps at least. All right, it might be 200, but at least 150. Anything less than that, we got a problem. So we can see on here that it is rated for 150 amps. So our job as a home inspector, we have to remove that panel, that dead front panel. So what I'm gonna do is take this panel off so we can see what's really going on. Now, for some of you, this might be your first time ever seeing what's behind the panel. I can tell you, before I got into home inspections, I didn't know what was behind these things either. So, and I'll be honest, this is my least favorite part of the home inspection, dealing with electrical, right? Because we can't, I'm not an electrician by trade. So, I'm, as most people are, I'm a little afraid of electricity. So, but we're gonna take a look inside this panel. All right, we're gonna take this off, remove the screws, and get inside this thing. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is having these breakers labeled. Very important, because if you're gonna get some work done, or you need to hit a breaker to do anything in the house, you wanna make sure you're hitting the right one. So having these properly labeled is important. And if they weren't, that would be listed as a defect in a home inspection. So these right here are actually good, so we're good here. So now we remove this panel, and we start to take a look. All right, so in this, we'll see all of the breakers and all the conductors that are connected to it. And the first thing I'm looking at on this thing, on these, is I'm looking at the panel surrounding this thing. Is there any debris in here, anything combustible that could come in here and catch fire? So we can see there's nothing in here. Now, next thing I'm looking at is how the wires are coming in. Start with my main one. We see we got aluminum conductors coming in, and I can already see down here at the bottom how my conductors are coming in. One of them is all the way in, the other one is not quite in as much as it should be. And so that right there tells me that there's, I'm not saying it's a major defect, but poor craftsmanship. Already we can see that. Along with that, we can see a knockout missing down here. At the bottom, there's a hole where maybe they were gonna bring a conductor through, but they didn't. So that should be covered up in some way, because we don't want to allow anything to get in there. Pests could get in there and can cause some problems. Along with that, still looking at surrounding, we can see conductors coming in the top, but we see that there are some conductors that are sharing clamps. They're coming through knockouts and they're sharing clamps. Now, there are enough knockouts in here to where they can have their own individual knockouts, their own clamps. We see one here that has 3 conductors coming in on one clamp, on one knockout. This one has 2. This one has 2. So we see multiple conductors coming in pairs. We want those to come in on their own individual knockouts and connect or held in by those clamps individually. So that's again, probably not major, but goes to the craftsmanship of this work here. So along with that, so we see there was at least 1/4 inch of sleeve coming through on the conductor. That's cool there. But we see, now I start to look at my neutrals and my ground, and then this is the main panel, so they should be bonded together, and we see that they are bonded together with this strap here. But we see these neutrals and grounds are double tapped. We see multiple grounds and neutral connected under lugs. And we even see 3 under 1. And there are plenty of open lugs here for them to connect individually. They don't have to be double tapped on these lugs. So again, more poor craftsmanship when it comes to that. All right. Along with that, so as we continue our look, I'm looking for any corrosion, rust, anything that shows signs of burning. We see all of the breakers are in here nice and secure. They're all the same breakers, same brand of breakers, I think, which is good. Except we got one GE. All right, so this is the one that's off brand. Again, nothing major, but if you want all your breakers to match, you want them to match the panel. So we see Cutler hammer breakers throughout, but we see one GE. Again, nothing major, but it's like, why didn't we get a matching breaker to go with this? So I'm looking at wire sizes based on breakers. We see the 15 amps. We see everything all up to 40 amps, which is probably the range. And we see appropriate, looks like the appropriate wire, but we see one of these conductors here is the sleeves is pulled back kind of far. It's pulled back kind of far, and that again, that goes to poor craftsmanship. Why? Why is it pulled back that far? It looks like they kind of damaged that conductor a little bit when they were pulling back that sleeve. So that's something, again, not major, but poor craftsmanship. Along with, if we take an overall look at this, we see very little space for any type of upgrades or additions to be made. So there's not a lot of room. So if they wanted to add more stuff into the house, more outlets or anything else, they would probably have to add a whole nother panel to this or change out this panel to get a bigger one. So we see that. So we got our main conductors coming in. One of them's pushed all the way in, the other one's not. We see double and triple tap neutrals, which nobody's gonna write that in a report, but it's like not necessary. When you add that to the list of a knockout missing, here we got multiple conductors coming in on single knockouts. They're sharing knockouts and clamps. They should come in on their individual knockouts. We see a conductor sleeve pull back too far. We see a mismatching breaker. We see, what else? What else? Everything else seems to be good, but when we add all this stuff up, it would make me say, hey, let's get an electrician out here for further evaluation. Not just an electrician, an electrical contractor out here for further evaluation. All right, so that's what I would put in a report for this one. Nothing major, but I know realtors and I know homeowners want to know, and buyers want to know everything that's going on. So I'm going to tell them everything that's going on, and I'm explaining to this why I would say let's get a contractor out there, because none of this stuff that I mentioned, though they are minor, you shouldn't be seeing them. All right, so I'm CJ Williams, Good Buddy Inspections. Again, if you're buying or selling, you're going to need a home inspection. If you're in the Charlotte area, North Carolina, look me up. You can go online, go to the website to book an inspection, or you can give me a call. All right, I'll see you guys next time.